In a world where PC cases strive to blend in, one tower dares to stand tall and redefine what it means to be unique. As promised, we're taking a quick look into Thermaltake's latest creation, the Tower 300 Micro Tower chassis. Is it worth the price of admission, or just another pretty face? Let's find out. Kicking things off with the unboxing, Thermaltake ensures that the Tower 300 arrives in pristine condition thanks to its robust packaging. Although I was somewhat surprised at the size of this case, the only thing micro about the Tower 300 is the motherboard tray. As we lift the veil, the immediate impression is striking. Its vertical design and tempered glass panels promise not just a housing for your components, but a true showcase. Diving into the design, the Tower 300's vertical orientation isn't just for show. It's supposedly engineered for enthusiasts who demand not only functionality, but also an extraordinary way to display their builds. The tempered glass panels on three sides offer a panoramic view of the interior, perfect for showing off your components. Overall, I'm happy with the build quality, but I'm a little concerned about how building the computer will actually go. Features-wise, the Tower 300 is no slouch. It supports micro-ATX and mini-ITX motherboards, has ample room for high-end GPUs, and comes with options for air and liquid cooling systems of nearly any size. Let's not forget the I/O panel and ingeniously designed cable management system. I'll have more on that later. This case is basically a Homer Simpson meme. How does it fare in a real-world build? I took the challenge and found the building experience to be quite interesting. I don't have any footage of the actual build, for that I'll refer you to last Saturday's live stream. Today's machine is a Ryzen 7 5700X on a Gigabyte Aorus Elite B550M motherboard with 32 gigs of DDR4 3000 and a Zotac RTX 3070. To say building this computer was a chore is an understatement. The case is just very awkward to build in. You have to alternate between laying it on its back, then standing it up, then awkwardly tilting it back or rotating it multiple times during the process. Now, this isn't a deal breaker, but needless to say, I wouldn't recommend the Tower 300 to a novice builder. Of course, performance is key for any case, and I was not disappointed. Thanks to the tower's vertical design and ample air intake, there is high potential for cooling. Our system had no issues staying cool and quiet with the two included CT140 fans. This case can also accommodate up to a 360mm AIO cooler. Speaking of fans, Thermaltake also includes magnetic and nylon dust filters for the various vents throughout the case, so it should stay relatively clean. However, if you're placing this machine on the ground, I would highly recommend considering the riser that Thermaltake offers as an accessory. Now, there's plenty of room for cable management in the back, but I found installing the PSU to be a bit awkward. I highly recommend you go with a modular power supply if you decide to buy this case. It will make cable routing much easier. It was also a little awkward routing the front panel connectors under the motherboard, so I actually recommend plugging those in prior to installing the motherboard itself. Editor Chris here. On that note, we're going to go ahead and pass it off to another segment that I just filmed off the cuff.
Okay, I just wanted to take a brief moment to give you some unscripted notes now that I'm all done with this build here. First of all, if you're going to plug anything in and out of the motherboard, you're going to have to take this top piece off, and in order to do that, you have to unplug anything that's in the front I/O. So that's a little inconvenient, and I get it. It's an unconventional case design. I understand that. I'm just saying it's kind of a pain to have to do that. And then you have to go ahead and unscrew these thumb screws here and lift up this little fan bracket that's up here that holds everything together. That's the only way you're getting to your rear I/O. So you might want to invest in some 90-degree connectors, especially if you can find one for HDMI, because if you plug this in, it's going to stand up awfully tall. And yeah, it technically fits in there, but you're smushing it down pretty hard. I'm not saying it's impossible or it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not ideal to have this smashed down like that. And also, once again, this has to come apart if you're gonna make any changes. So you can't really make I/O changes on the fly if it involves your I/O panel. You just have the front I/O. So I'd maybe recommend getting like a USB-C dongle or something up here so that you have some more I/O, because getting into this thing while the computer is running can be done, but it's not ideal. Let me go ahead and show you a couple of other things around back here. And then the other issue with this case, or not really an issue, it's just not the best design in my opinion is the way the power supply works. So you basically have to slide the power supply in, cables first, then loop them over the top, and then route them through the motherboard, which isn't the greatest design ever. I know this is pretty poor cable management. You all know me. I'm not big on cable management, especially if I'm not selling a PC. But you can kind of tell here, with how much space they had, you should be able to cram all kinds of stuff back here. And you still kind of can, but I wish there was more cable management in this general vicinity. I think maybe they were thinking, well, maybe you'll put some SSDs or a hard drive or something back here. We could have done for some more cable management hooks. And then as far as this cable management down here is concerned, I'm not sure what part of the power supply is supposed to route through there. It's not your 20 pin, because on most power supplies, the 20 pin or the 24 pin connector isn't long enough to loop all the way back, and it's too thick to fit through this tiny channel down here. So just some side notes.
So what's the verdict? On the plus side, the Tower 300 offers stunning aesthetics, robust build quality, and versatile cooling options. However, it's probably not for everyone. The unique design could pose challenges for some build configurations, and the price point certainly reflects its premium status. I was disappointed that the color of the plastic pieces didn't quite match the paint on the rest of the case, albeit this might just be a problem with the yellow Bumblebee variant that we're looking at today. Now, this normally wouldn't be a huge deal if it weren't for the $149 price tag. Additionally, much of Thermaltake's marketing for the Tower 300 features two RGB fans and an LCD screen. Note that you'll need to buy those separate. The cost of fans varies, but that 3.9-inch TFT LCD is a whopping $89. They really should encourage third-party retailers to leave it out of the marketing material or clearly mark additional accessories. Thermaltake's The Tower 300 micro chassis is a bold statement in PC case design. It blends form and function in a way that's sure to turn heads and start conversations. It's unique, but I don't expect it to be a trendsetter like its multi-pane competition, the Lee & Lee 011 Dynamic or Height. Whether it's right for you really depends on your needs, preferences, and budget. For those of you who dare to stand out, the Tower 300 might be the perfect canvas for your next masterpiece. Thanks for watching my brief overview of the Tower 300 by Thermaltake. If you enjoyed this review, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them below. The channel is growing fast, but I still try my best to help all of you with all of your questions whenever possible. Don't forget, when we hit 1,000 subs, we're giving away a free GPU, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.